All right, so I was just relaxing on the couch and I just happened to open my laptop and start looking at Reddit. And then I thought to myself, "Oh, Reddit's on fire right now. Let me record a video because the last few times I felt like I was on Reddit and it wasn't cooperating with me because I would be scrolling looking for something fun and I just kept on finding depressing thing after depressing thing." And so now I'm like, wait, stop scrolling because there's good stuff that would be fun to scroll um, with this audience that I don't know exists. But yes, let's go ahead and start looking through some cool things. Okay, so and my Reddit page looks totally different. I like changed the layout of everything, so I'm trying to figure out, how to look at certain things. But anyways, ask Reddit, what do men want? Yes, I already clicked on this earlier and read some of the comments, and it was fun. So let's open them back up. Sleep. Yeah, I haven't had a really good night's sleep in a decade. I have had insomnia since I was a small child. I could count on both hands the number of times that was able to fall asleep in under 1 hour and sleep through the night. I yearn for nothing more than being able to sleep well. Edit. I appreciate everyone's replies, but before I get another, I think it's worth saying I've tried basically everything except a sleep study, which I plan to do. I've tried meditation, various medications, melatonin, CBD, establishing a bedtime routine, exercise, basically everything. It's a 30-year issue which I've tried very hard to fix, but again, I do appreciate all of the advice. Edit. People, for real, I've tried everything besides the sleep study. Edit. Guy, seriously, out of all the advice, I've tried it. Sometimes I fall asleep when I don't want to, and other times I don't fall asleep when I really, 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 really want to. So, yeah, it's a toss-up. Next thing. Let's see what this person said. They said probably a lot of the same things that women want. Less stress, more stability, to be successful in their endeavors, etc. A massive fucking shed with plumbing and electrics. If you have love, stability, and happiness, you arrive at a point in your life, no matter your ethnicity or background, where you just want a big fucking shed. I don't know if I want a shed, but I could totally go for a treehouse. A really beautiful treehouse. So it's like a shed, but in a tree. I think I remember this from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Shed comes after self-actualization. Shed actualization. Aw, look at these nerds. I like me some Maslow. Love me a good shed. There are two things I want. A big enough garage to be able to park both cars and open the doors. What? This is a high roller without destroying them. A big enough shed to store my theoretical lawnmower, umbrella, gardening tools, and hoses, cords, large items. So basically, I'll just sit here wishing for the rest of my life. All right, next one. And I have to open that one up because these are the comments I read earlier. A back and a neck massage. Oh, yes, I love massages. I went to Bali recently and the massages were so cheap. When I did the math, some of them were only like $14. And they were amazing massages, the best massages I've ever had. And my business idea was to recruit the massage therapists that I like the most and just bring them back to the United States with me. And then I would give them a space to work. They would keep the vast majority of their money. Like, I really wouldn't take very much. But I would want one massage a day. Maybe I could cut it down to like 3 massages a week for no charge. But they would live with me. They would stay in my home. I could get maybe a massage a day, maybe just 3 massages a week. And then whatever they earned, and I would help them get clients, and they would make way more money here. And then they'd only have to work like 3 months here, and then they can go back for 3 months, and they can come. Anyways, it was a very good business idea. I still think it's a good business idea. I just don't know about all the details. Also, it would be really hard for me to convince some stranger that just gave me a massage to fly across the country with me. Anyways, that was my massage business idea. Let's see. Brother, you might not know this, but you need a forearm massage too. Absolutely. I love it when my forearms get massaged. I've noticed that as I got older, especially with my right hand, because I'm right hand dominant, when someone rubs my forearms, I love them. How did I not know about forearm massages? I don't know. How did you not know? It is very relaxing. Also, because your forearms have all your grip related muscles, the more you work with your hands, the better the forearm massage is. This is very true. For a construction worker who's never heard of a forearm massage, you're saying it'd be worth it. Because once I read those words, I became extremely aware of every ache I've ever had in my forearms. Yeah, we don't take good enough care of our forearms, our wrists, our elbows, our necks, all of it. Next one. Let's see. Wait, what did this one say? To love and be loved. Men say they want that. I'm such a female chauvinist. But at least, in certain parts of the country, they don't behave that way. There are lots of men that behave like they don't want to love and be loved. They know who they are. They need therapy. Next, love, support, and the feeling I am needed, that I make a contribution. I want to be wanted. I want to be wanted. I want to be the little spoon, which is so cool because I love being the big spoon. And yes, boyfriend tells me I feel like a Dora the Explorer backpack on his back. But I do love being the big spoon. I love cradling him and like his big old body. Like I can't even like reach my arm all the way around, but I still really like it. And I like to throw my leg over him too. So it's like arm, leg, intense smothering, and snuggies. Okay. My heart reaches out to you tonight, stranger. You will get there. I believe in you. You can be the little spoon. You can be the little spoon. You have to get a little girlfriend, because little girlfriends like being big spoons. Okay, next. Oh yes. To find the lost city of Atlantis. Maybe also getting soft forehead kisses too. Soft forehead kisses are quite magnificent, and I think more men should have them. Okay. Next one. Oh, wait, what did he say? To find the lost city of Atlantis, soft forehead kisses. I can help you with one, but you're on your own with those kisses. Can I join the crew? Let me come too. Okay, next. Companionship and a deep emotional connection, even if they don't know how to ask for it. One of the best things I ever did for myself in this regard was to go to therapy. What did I just say? Yep. Learning how to effectively communicate your emotions without getting caught up in them will save you so much struggle and emotional turmoil. Even if you didn't get it or learn how to growing up, you can make those moves now. Only one problem there. Therapy costs money. This is true. One thing that I like to do that's very therapeutic is make these videos. The other thing is, I talk to my girlfriends a lot. And that's just a massive amount of oversharing with my friends. But they do the same thing. We all overshare with each other. It's too much. But I think women are really good at that. Especially when you're close to someone, you've known them for a long time. There's a lot of trust. And yeah. But that stuff doesn't happen overnight. And I think if you take the time to build those relationships, they can be quite therapeutic, but also, aside from therapy, just wonderful, joyous things. I personally just want to love someone and be loved back. Could do away with pretty much anything else. Oh. That type of thinking can really get you into a fucked up relationship because you get hypnotized by the love. Another term is getting love bombed. Like if someone wants you to be attached to them very quickly and they love bomb you, that's also dangerous because they don't want to be attached to you. They just want you attached to them. So this person says, just focus on self-improvement in hygiene, communication, meditation, and exercise. Make sure you put yourself out in the market through dating apps and random conversations, and you won't believe the amount of doors that open. Don't use dating apps. Great way for men to destroy their self-esteem. What else would you suggest then, if I may ask? I've been single for 19 years, going on 20 soon. Not much seems to be helping, to be honest. If you want an honest answer, you're likely not going to find it here, but I can tell you what worked for me twice. One was a failed marriage, the other is currently going strong. I met my first wife on some random speed dating app like on Facebook like 17 years ago when it was totally different world. We didn't work out, but that wasn't the only place. I met people at the bar, through friends, an online app like Plenty of Fish and OkCupid. After my ex and I divorced, I went back to the big dating sites. In my opinion, the sites are better than Tinder, but I know a dude who met his wife on Bumble. I met mine in Plenty of Fish and Tinder. We were chatting on Plenty of Fish. I stumbled across her on Tinder, and we realized we had a mutual friend who encouraged us to give it a shot. We hit it off, and the rest is history. But the key here is you have to be honest. Honest with yourself and your potential partner. What are you looking for? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Can you answer those questions? In my opinion, Tinder is a shit show and should never be taken seriously. It's supplementary to the other sites and is deep into hookup culture. If you're looking for something more serious and long-term, then one of the pay sites is likely a better bet. But it's all a numbers game, and you can't get deeply invested until you've had a few dates. You're not out looking for the one. You're out looking to meet people and maybe find a super compatible person along the way. There is no one. There's just people that you're really compatible with who would make great life partners. You know, it is very much a numbers game. It's not like 1 in a million. It's actually only, I can't remember where this study came from. I learned it. One of my friends was a psych nurse, and so she studied psychology, psychiatry, and she's a psychiatric mental health nurse and also a public health nurse. But she was telling me about the study, and basically it's really 1 in 60,000. That's it. 1 in 60,000 is a person that could be, compatible, have chemistry, attraction, and really connect with you and click with you. And 60,000 is a way better number than a million, So anyways, 1 in 60,000. I told that to my now boyfriend. He made some comment regarding like something along these lines, and I told him, I was like, oh no babe, you're only 1 in 60,000. It's really not as big as a number as you think. Yeah, anyways, it wasn't romantic. Well, I thought it was. Whatever, moving on. Next one. Oh wait, I wanted to say something else. Dating apps. I personally just want to love someone and be loved back. Love bombing. Don't use the dating apps. Single for 19 years, going on 20. I can't remember. Maybe my brain will come back to it later. But yeah, it's interesting to see all these guys saying they just want love and to be loved back. But it feels like when you are, like, at least in the Bay Area on different dating apps, it just feels like it's just a bunch of fuckboys, and it's really annoying. And for women, it's like, why would I settle for a fuckboy or boyfriend when I could have a husband? Now, I'm not married. I don't know if he's listening to this right now. I'm not married. But ladies, other ladies, there's no reason to settle for a boyfriend when you could have a husband, if that's what you want, if that's what you're looking for. And clearly there's all these guys looking for this too. I don't know where these men live. Where are you? Next comment. Affection. It's crazy how a compliment can make my entire month for me. Edit. Love the conversation. This is starting. You're all welcome. Affection. Loyalty, time alone, and to feel appreciated. This is spot on, although I would add financial stability to it, stable to it. Time alone, but without holding it against us, internalizing it as their failure to be desired. This is something that I need to work on. This is one of my things that an area of improvement for myself. So there's that. I don't want to look at this anymore. Why does this come up so often in all kinds of relationships? Because some people don't talk about important things like this in a calm and rational manner. My ex, who comes from a culture where everyone does everything together, got a little mad once when I asked her if it was cool if I stayed home by myself. I told her that I've spent a lot of time on my own and sometimes I just need that time. I wasn't asking for zero contact, but I needed to chill at my place and do my own thing. She got it, and we had fun texting here and there about what we were up to at the moment. A few weekends later, I had some weekend plans stewing in my head, so I called her to see which one sounded best. She said, would it be okay if we did that the weekend after next? I have some things I want to do around the house. Music to my ears. Sometimes you have to introduce new things because not everyone lives the same way. Yep. Tried that and it did not go over well. Doesn't help that she came from an abusive marriage. But for someone who has a lot of alone time, not getting it and her projecting her previous ex onto me was not enjoyable. So glad I finally stood my ground and told her no more. Wow, I think you found the answer, my friend. If both sexes can understand that, problem solved. It's so emotionally freeing having this type of relationship with your partner. Alone time is absolutely crucial. Self-care is absolutely crucial. Sometimes we just want to smoke a bowl and eat bagel bites and watch a documentary about bugs that can float and make air bubbles to survive. Yeah, no, I'm working on this, and maybe I'll hopefully, yes, I will get better. But in my defense, never mind, I'm not going to defend myself. I'm going to close this and move on. All right, here we go. Let's see. I am a 24-year-old male. I'm a 24-year-old male. My girlfriend, I always get confused when people write posts like this where it's like my bracket 24-year-old male girlfriend, and I'm like, who's talking right now? Are you the dude or the girl? Anyways, 24-year-old male has a girlfriend that's 24-year-old female, and the guy's brother is a 26-year-old male, and they got into a fist fight over a political argument, and now my family is demanding I break up with her. Your girlfriend got into a fight with your brother? Did your brother hit her back? Let's do it. Okay. I introduced my girlfriend to my parents, siblings, and extended family on a family get-together a few days ago. This was the first time I had seen them since the start of the pandemic, and it started out really well with everyone getting along and having fun. That would change as more alcohol was consumed. My girlfriend and brother got into a heated political argument that suddenly escalated to violence, resulting in substantial injuries for both of them. Accounts of who threw the first punch differ, and I frankly don't care, as they both actively contributed to the fight and antagonized each other. The fight was eventually broken up when my girlfriend had the clear advantage. My mom screamed at my girlfriend to leave, so we left. I love both my girlfriend and my brother, and I don't blame either one of them for the fight more than I blame the other. My girlfriend also doesn't seem to hold any grudges and is embarrassed by her behavior during the incident. My brother and parents, on the other hand, place 100% of the blame on my girlfriend and demand that I break up with her, or they will cut all ties with me. I will not do that, but I want to maintain my relationship with my family and somehow get them to accept my girlfriend and that she should not bear all the blame for this incident. My brother is also demanding that my girlfriend pay for his alleged medical expenses and is threatening to report her to the police if she refuses. My experience of growing up in this town makes me think sexism in the local police department makes it unlikely that anything would come of that report, as they would almost certainly refuse to consider the possibility that a woman can assault a man. I have offered to pay off my brother, but my girlfriend refuses to let me do that and says she will pay him if he can prove that the medical expenses are real. My girlfriend still has clearly visible injuries, but did not visit the hospital. I suggested that she go get her injuries documented, but she doesn't want to do that. I just wish everyone could forget about this and move forward, but writing this makes me think my family is acting unreasonably, and perhaps I should just cut contact with them as they are threatening to do with me. Perhaps growing up with these people makes me blind to how ridiculous their behavior is. I don't know what I should do. Okay, update. Here's the update. So this happened in July of 2020, and then this update was posted. Okay, and then 5 days later, there's another update. Okay. Thank you for all the advice and apologies for the vagueness of my original post. I showed it to my girlfriend and she agreed that it was vague and I thought I left out important details. I will let her provide those details at the end. You convinced me that it may actually matter who threw the first punch. Before making the original post, I heard two mutually exclusive versions of the events. One told by my girlfriend and one told by my parents and my brother. It's honestly very hard for me to believe that any of them would lie about something like this. I have since reached out to everyone else who have may seen how it started and received two relevant replies. One from my aunt who confirmed my parents' and brother's version, and one from my younger sister, an 18-year-old female, who described a scenario similar to what my girlfriend had told me. Everyone who sided with my brother has obviously had the opportunity to talk with him and each other and intentionally or unintentionally influence each other's story. It's very unlikely that my girlfriend and sister have done that, as they don't know each other, and my sister would have no reason to lie for my girlfriend. I don't think there is a reasonable explanation for them telling the same story, other than that it's the truth. I'm therefore almost certain that my brother hit my girlfriend first. My parents have recanted the threat to cut ties with me for not breaking up with my girlfriend, but they are still saying that she is not welcome back to their home and will never be a part of our family. I'm honestly done with them at this point. She has done everything and more, including being willing to pay for his medical expenses, and my brother refused to even hear her apology, much less make his own or take any responsibility at all. At this point, I'm 100% behind my girlfriend, just as my parents are 100% behind my brother. Many people commenting on the original post asked if my brother is racist or assumed that he is after I revealed what the argument was about. I'm honestly not sure how to answer that. My brother sometimes repeats racist talking points from TV and social media, especially against Hispanic people, but last year he was strongly against the deportation of a neighboring family who had immigrated from Mexico. He even, probably facetiously, suggested that their deportation was a conspiracy to undermine Trump's immigration policy by deporting good people instead of violent criminals. I have never heard my brother use a racial slur or seen him treat anyone differently because of their race. I guess the answer depends on how you define racism. Okay, my girlfriend's comment. Okay, so girlfriend says, "This is what I think happened based on what I remember, assume, and was told afterwards. It's probably not entirely correct." I like how objective she's being. She's trying to be fair, I think. She's trying to be honest, it sounds like. All right. We were all sitting around a big or outdoor table. I was sitting between my boyfriend and his brother. We talked about non-political things like places we had been or wanted to travel to, but then someone mentioned the protests, and my boyfriend's brother immediately responded by calling the protesters terrorists. I asked what made them terrorists and if the cops were also terrorists by that definition. I don't remember how he responded, but the argument continued from there. We were drinking progressively more alcohol as we continued to argue, almost like if we were in an unspoken drinking contest. At some point, we both stood up and continued to argue loudly while getting in each other's face. My boyfriend tried to separate us by pulling us away from each other and by attempting to stand between us, but we ignored him and continued. My boyfriend really doesn't like conflict or people screaming, and he was probably very frustrated at that time, so he left and went into the house. We were both angry, and I definitely wanted to punch him, but I still had enough self-control to restrain myself. I fully believe in freedom of speech, and I know that violence is never an acceptable response to someone expressing an opinion. Then he punched me with a closed fist in the face. I don't remember feeling afraid or like I was defending myself when I hit back. What I felt was a strange mix of hatred and excitement. We traded a few punches, and then one of mine caused him to fall to the ground. I immediately kicked him in the chest and was then pulled away from him by his dad. That kick is what I regret the most. It was excessive, dangerous, and completely unnecessary. I kicked someone laying defenselessly on the ground, and I didn't feel anything for him until several hours later. I'm terrified of the person I was then, but that person is still me. I did that, but I can't understand why. I was not afraid, and I remember doing it deliberately. I keep thinking about what would have happened if no one was around to stop me after that kick. Would I have kicked him again? How many times? I can't answer those questions, and that's the most terrifying thing. My boyfriend wrote that we both had substantial injuries. I don't think that's true. I had a black eye and some bruises. My boyfriend's brother had a broken rib and a concussion. My injuries were not substantial compared to his. which is why I don't think it's unfair for me to pay for his medical bills. I would have done that even without the threat of reporting me to the police. Some comments on the post indicated that my boyfriend's brother should either be more to blame or should feel ashamed for losing because of his gender. I disagree. Gender should not have anything to do with this. It's possible that he feels differently and is ashamed of losing to a woman, but I don't think he should feel that way even within that value system, as it was essentially random. He could just as well have knocked me to the ground with his first punch. I don't think strength or skills played any significant role. Excuse me. All right. So, this says, comments section. Well, actually, I'm processing a little bit too. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're both responsible. And she's definitely holding herself accountable and reflecting on her behaviors and quite ashamed of those behaviors. Not just ashamed, but definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now, but she regrets them. I don't know how the brother feels exactly. I mean, the brother quite possibly could feel very emasculated for getting knocked down and kicked in the chest by a woman. He might, if that had been a dude, he might be reacting differently. I don't know. Okay. I couldn't help but notice that the family didn't jump in to break them up until after the brother clearly got his ass kicked. Yep, they are trash, and that's what makes me think the brother started it. They're clearly all Trump trash. Yep, no doubt in my mind, his brother is 100% a racist and punched his girlfriend. When your family supports that, I don't know how you remain close to them. Yeah, would they have stepped in? When would they have stepped in if the brother was beating up the girlfriend? Like, if the brother was winning, I'm sure, I don't know. Anyways, next comment. This is responding to the brother suggesting that the deportation was a conspiracy to undermine Trump's immigration policy by deporting good people instead of violent criminals. So this person writes, My hometown was in our state paper for this. The sheriff was quoted something like, I didn't think they'd take people I liked. It was super embarrassing that the message to the rest of the state was that pretty much everyone official in our town wasn't smart enough to know that everyone in our town wasn't smart enough to know what they had actually voted for or happily voted for. People were also quoted as saying that the local bread and butter industry the community relied on would go under because they were taking away the workforce. It's simultaneously awkward and relieving when people out themselves like this. Like, at least I know to stay the fuck away from you now. In my country, the guy running against the incumbent for county judge was a billboard that reads, since, in brackets, incumbent, took office, homicides in our county have increased 183%. Then something about ending the crime spree. Dude is the sitting sheriff. Oh, God. All right. Next comment. Once you throw the first punch, whatever ass whipping you get is owned. Also, as a woman, the goal is always to incapacitate until you can't be attacked anymore. Good for her. And the dad sure as shit wasn't going to help her since he only stepped in once his son was losing, rather than when his son was trying to punch a woman. She's lucky that the family didn't jump on her. That was my thought too. I'm surprised they didn't, honestly. This is a good point, though. And maybe, she doesn't, when she's processing this and feeling really bad, she's like, why did I kick him in the chest? If his dad hadn't grabbed me, would I have done it again? And it could have just been subconscious that, like, hey, you have to incapacitate someone until you can't be attacked anymore. And that makes a lot of sense to me. My brother isn't racist, but he does regurgitate racist talking points and make racist jokes. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next post altogether. All right. What vehicle is only driven by assholes? Okay. I haven't looked at this at all yet, so this is brand new for me and I'm excited. Okay. Any truck with a sticker of Calvin peeing on the logo of the other model truck. I don't know what that means. Whoever was unnecessarily super... Oh, yes. Whoever has unnecessarily super bright lights at night. I wonder where I can apply for my blindness allowance. I hate those cars. These red and yellow cars from Little Tykes. They're all bad drivers. Pretty sure they don't have their license. The Nissan Altima with expired paper plates. Every vehicle that I'm not driving. You're all assholes. Oppressor MK2. Is this from a video game? Probably. Anything that truck nuts have been installed on. I know someone who had these ironically. Ironically, he's still an asshole. Turns out that being an asshole and being an asshole are ironically the same thing in the end. I have a small set on my phone. They're called chat sacks. Here you go. Solid cupping there. Probably really appreciated. And let's see what else. Any vehicle with a Punisher sticker. I'm pretty sure the Venn diagram of genuine Punisher fans and people with Punisher stickers on their car are two separate circles. Stolen cars. Okay. Dodge Chargers, especially with window tint. Nissan Altimas. Oh, the second one. I had a Nissan Altima at one time. And then, that car got totaled. So there was a truck that was towing farm equipment, and it rear-ended me pretty hard. I was parked. I was at a stop. I was at a red light. I was at a full stop, and it wasn't like, I braked really hard. No, like I rolled to a stop, and I was at a stoplight. And then this truck that was towing farm equipment rear-ended me and pushed me into the truck in front of me and totally sandwiched like both ends of my car. And that was the end of my Nissan Altima that I really liked. It was a really good car. I was sad to let it go. And then I had to get a new car, and I found my new car on Craigslist. It was a deal. That new car is currently being held together in one place with mailing tape. And she runs really well. All right, Nissan Altimas are almost guaranteed to cut you off or hit you with their already barely holding on bumpers. That's the part of my car that's being held on with mailing tape. Okay. Where I live, Nissan Altimas are typically the culprit of everything related to asshole-ish drivers. Most speedsters, accidents, damage to a vehicle while still being operated. I thought there'd be more like BMW drivers. I always hear about how terrible BMW drivers are. Let's see. Anything with a tap-out decal on it. A super lifted, straight pipe, no cats, ultra bright, misaimed, LED retina burner headlights, upgraded second generation Chevrolet Tahoe, GMC Yukon, Suburbans, and Yukon XLs are also included. But this description wouldn't flow well if I listed everything. Bonus points if the stock radio head unit was replaced with a shitty aftermarket touchscreen radio and the entire trunk space is taken up by subwoofers. Oh, man. I like it. Wait, let's sort this by controversial. Maybe that'll be fun. Let's see. Where's my sort button? Sort by best. What's the most controversial? Pickup trucks. Okay. Volkswagen Golf GTI. Priuses. Get the hell out of my way. Prius. Here we go. Driving a particular model car doesn't make you an asshole. Asking a question like this could be a solid indicator, though. All right, next thing. Okay, how much more are you paying in mortgage now compared to 6 months ago? Personal Finance Canada. Does this think I'm in Canada? How do I come back to the US? Actually, never mind. I'll stay in Canada. Never mind. Let's see. Anti-work, Marjorie Taylor Greene, some Apple stuff. Oh, yes. I want to read this one. I opened it, but I didn't actually read it. So let's see. Personal Finance Canada. What percentage of my spouse's paycheck should go towards household living expenses? I'm earning $90,000 a year base on my main job and work 2 additional jobs in the evenings and weekends with volatile schedule. Something like $20K total for those. 50 to 70 hours a week total. So 90 plus 20. So he's doing like $110,000 a year and he works 50 to 70 hours a week. My wife just entered the workforce part-time and is making $12,000 a year. I find that about 95% of my after-tax deduction salary is spent immediately on clearing any bills. Wow. So 95% of your income when you get your paycheck, after you've paid your taxes, goes immediately to bills. And I would like my wife to contribute so I can reduce my hours and also fund some savings and investments, including our son's registered education fund. I understand that she isn't making a lot of money relatively, but feels she should contribute 50% of her after-tax salary to the household to contribute towards expenses. An extra $500 per month would actually be very helpful in reducing the burden. Does this seem fair to you? She has shown resistance to contributing anything since she says she should have her money too. I don't want to demotivate her from working by taking too much and maybe pushing her towards being underemployed. What are your thoughts? Edit. Thanks for the good advice. In summary, some people suggested trying out a simple joint account for household expenses for both our salaries, and then we can set aside a set percentage for personal spending. I'll chat about that. Does anyone know any good automated methods for doing this other than having a payroll go into a joint account, then manually withdrawing the personal spending allotments? In other news, not sure why people are hyper-focusing on budget and trying to slam me for bad financial choices. People that live in most big cities should be able to comprehend how I might be able to part with 5K after tax every month, especially with a large household. I also have business expenses relating to some entrepreneurial projects I'm trying to get off the ground. Some commenters went so far as to read through my entire post history and find little nuggets of evidence to put together to try and talk more about how I'm a piece of shit, living above my means. When people try to construct narratives with malicious intent like that, it makes me want to not ask any questions on these communities because so many commenters are obviously coming from a place of ill will, not trying to be constructive or helpful in any way. It is Reddit. I mean, yeah, you'll get some decent comments, but I wouldn't expect... It's Reddit. This is super off topic, but here we are. Maybe Reddit Canada's different, but in Reddit USA, you better believe you're going to get trolled most of the time. Every Reddit post in the United States is r roast me. Okay. There is no way this arrangement of my money would work for my wife and I. Everything is seen as one big pile, and we discuss purchases over about $200. You make $110K and 95% goes to paying the bills. Start there. I know, I was really confused about that too. I was like, what? What are these bills? 95%? That's a lot. Guarantee most of the bills are mortgage or rent. Average rent in Canada is now up over $2,000 a month. Yeah, imagine having roughly $5K a month in bills at $110,000. OP would go to the food bank on an $80K salary. Okay. You are making $110,000 and spending 95% on bills. You are overextended before your wife started working, and you are overextended now. Cutting back on the bills is your first priority, rather than who pays for the bills. Neither of you can afford the bills you have. This situation happened prior to your wife getting a job. Her taking paid employment won't put you in a better situation where you can save money or reduce your hours unless you reduce your expenses first. Presumably, your wife was a stay-at-home parent, and then the two of you agreed to that arrangement. That unpaid work has value, in fact, that you weren't paying for childcare. If childcare is $1,500 a month, that is $18,000 a year in after-tax dollars that wasn't another bill to be paid. This sub won't solve your communication or relationship issues or tell you that you're right. This sub will tell you that the two of you need to sit down and come to an agreement on budget. Money going out should be much less than the money coming in. And from there, who is responsible for what in the household? Hopefully you're sensing the recurring theme here about budget being your primary issue. That will be resolved by communication between the two of you. That's actually a very decent, thoughtful response. Because I do think that childcare and staying at home with the kids is hard work. Plus, it can get really boring. I don't have any kids, but I imagine that staying home day in and day out, taking care of the kids can get quite boring. And also exhausting. It's like boring and exhausting at the same time. All the money my wife and I make go into one account, so it doesn't matter who makes it. It all goes to the family and we allot it to our expenses. Seems like you guys spend a ton of money if almost all of it goes towards bills. All right. Next thing. Okay. Let's see. Which actor basically plays the same character in every movie, but you think that's okay? What actor plays the same character? Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn plays the same character in every movie, but I think it's okay because I like the character that he plays. Let's see. Giancarlo Esposito. Moff Gideon is just Gus Fringe. Oh, that guy. Stan Edgar is Gus Fringe. And Faraday in Cyberpunk. Okay. Danny Trejo. That's not true. He has two characters he plays. Scary looking guy that is evil and scary looking guy that is good. Dang, I forgot he had so much range. Hector from The Fast and the Furious. I have not seen The Fast and the Furious, and I'm okay with that. Jason Statham. He was pretty funny in the spy comedy, but looking at it, it was a parody of his characters. He was good he had a good humor enough to play a parody of his own characters. His monologue in the hotel room is still one of my favorites. I've swallowed enough microchips to shit them back out again and build a computer. That's good. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn! That's right. I am so glad this popped up. Anytime I need to write something I'm dreading, I'll watch The Internship. It gets me in the mood. Wedding Crashers just makes me happy. On the line. You mean online? Yeah, on the line. When you say on the line, you mean online. Stuart, you don't do that to a man. One of the funniest scenes I've ever seen. I love that movie. I love that part too. On the line. On the interwebs. And what about Vince Vaughn in True Detective Season 2? He played a completely another character. And nobody liked it. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Or Vince Vaughn in The Cell with Jennifer Lopez. All right. But typically, Vince Vaughn is Vince Vaughn. Michael Cera. Michael Cera has been playing George Michael Bluth for his entire career. Oh, I love Arrested Development. I watched so much Arrested Development at one stage of my life. What was I doing? Oh, I had just become a nurse. Wait, was I? Maybe I wasn't even. No, I wasn't even in nursing school yet. I was taking prerequisites. That's right. Okay, I was taking prerequisites to get into nursing school. And I watched a lot of Arrested Development because it gave me that 30 minutes of just like silly laughter. I loved it. Yeah. Mr. F. Mr. F. For those of you that know, you know who Mr. F is. Okay. Michael Cera only ever did Scott Pilgrim, his career would still be worth it. Oh, if Michael Cera only ever did Scott Pilgrim, his career would still be worth it. Except in Molly's Game, where he plays Tobey Maguire. Jason Bateman in Arrested Development seemed like the same guy he played in Ozark, always calm and cool no matter what. In This Is the End, Michael Cera and a lot of other actors and comedians all played themselves, but in his case, they made a joke where they portrayed him as a wild, coked up, crazy party animal who acted all cocky and slapped Rihanna's ass, etc. I imagine he's not like that in real life. I imagine Michael Cera is just like George Michael Bluth. I used to have a big crush on Michael Cera too, because I'm into nerds. I'm like really into nerds. My boyfriend's like the biggest nerd. And who else was I really into? Michael Cera and anyways, let me see what else is going on. Danny McBride. I do like Danny McBride. And what was it? Eastbound and Down. I'm not trying to be the best at fitness. I play a man's sport. I play a real sport. I play baseball. This should be upvoted 100 times. Ryan Reynolds. Yep, he is the same character again and again. A snarky prankster with a hot wife who plays snarky pranksters with hot girlfriends and wives. He can act. He does have range. But people want him being him. I think people are getting a little tired of it now, though. Not every character should be Deadpool, which is basically just him. All right. Now, Ryan Reynolds is cute. All right. Am I the asshole for euthanizing my daughter's emotional support animal for her own sake? I don't want to know what happened. I need to get out of Canada, actually. How do I fix this? The screen before was different. Like you could pick what country you were in. What family secret do you know that you're not supposed to know? Let's see. All right. This is going to be good. Actually, it might be really bad. Hold on. Okay. My great-grandparents were high school sweethearts and the only role models I've ever had for a relationship since my grandparents and parents are... Wait, what? My great-grandparents were high school sweethearts and the only role models I'd ever had for a relationship since my grandparents and parents are divorced and hate each other. Then my mom tells me that my great-grandma had an affair, and that's why one of my grandma's sisters isn't like the others. So there's that. Oh, Grandma. My great-grandpa isn't related to us. He met my great-grandma when she was a teen. Oh, she had been raped by a traveling salesman, was pregnant. Her family kicked her out. Great-grandpa couldn't have kids due to torture in a Japanese prison camp during World War II. He married her and raised my grandma as his own. My great-grandma told me when she had dementia and forgot it was a secret. My great-grandpa is 102 now and is the bedrock of our family. He's not blood, but he's our family and always will be. Edit, because people are asking. I asked their daughter, my grandma, after this, and she confirmed that she had known this as true since she was a young adult. That's really cool. I mean, not cool. It's not cool that she was raped by a traveling salesman, but the rest of the story is really nice. My mom lied about how my dad died. Myself and my brother were told he died to cancer. He wrote us each letters of goodbyes, and I still have mine. When I turned 18, the truth came out. He died in a murder-suicide with his wife, my stepmom. Wait, murder-suicide with his wife, my stepmom, her lover, who was also his psychiatrist. Whoa. This is deep. Turned out His wife was cheating on him with his doctor, and while my dad had some psychological issues, the doctor purposely prescribed him medication that worsened his paranoia. When he found out about the affair, he shot them both and then himself. Damn. That doctor fucked around and found out. Ugh. That's so tragic. I feel really bad for their whole family. He wrote them letters of goodbyes, and I still have mine. I wonder how old he was when the dad actually died, because he learned the truth when he was 18, but how old was he when his dad did the murder-suicide? How did they explain that his wife also died at the same time if he died due to cancer? Did they say she had it too? Was the second wife? OP's mom was not wife. I also have this question. I'm fucking an unstable patient's wife. I know, let's make him more unstable. I am smart. Next comment says, my mom lied to a man and told him I was his son and frequently extorted money from him by telling him she needed it to raise me. I found out when he showed up with gifts shortly after I moved out on my own. He had hired a private inspector, a PI, after my mom refused to give him my contact info. He apologized for not being in my life and cried while telling me he was dying of pancreatic cancer and he didn't want to go without meeting me. My mom lied to a man and told him I was his son. So this man thinks this boy is his son, and then he shows up or hires a private investigator to find him because he's dying of pancreatic cancer. Why didn't he ever get to meet him? I mean, he's giving money to mom to help raise him, but never gets to meet him as a kid. I asked my mom about it, and she told him that so she could get money for drugs after she left my dad. DNA test confirmed he was not my dad. Tested myself against the man I was always told was my biological dad. I only ever met him the one time. I took the gifts because it was such a surreal experience. I didn't know how to tell him anything other than that I forgave him. My mom is the only person that knows this happened. It's very heartbreaking. This could be a whole movie. I guess a couple of these could be a movie, but for some reason, I feel like this one could be, I don't know, really powerful. Because it's so layered. So layered. Let's see. My great-grandma told my grandpa that the Jewish girl he liked was taken to a concentration camp when in truth they fled. My great-grandma told my grandpa that the Jewish girl he liked was taken to a concentration camp when in truth they fled. It is said she knew they were safe. Grandpa meets my grandma shortly after. They get married, but apparently he still talked about the other girl from time to time and that she was the one who got away and how awful it all was. Many years ago, my aunt and dad are born. Grandpa walks around town and meets the girl from back then, is totally shocked, and finds out he has been lied to all this time. Grandpa got sick pretty soon after that and died when my dad was only 5 years old. My grandma later once said she believes he died of a broken heart. Oh, that is so sad. Yeah. So people can die of broken hearts. It's called Takotsubo's heart disease, or Takotsubo's cardiomyopathy. Super sad. Let's see. I was used as a test dummy to see if my uncle was actually... What? Oh, all right. I was used as a test dummy to see if my uncle was actually a pedophile. I guess they were suspicious. Instead of doing anything responsible, they set me up. I was only a toddler. They figured since I couldn't remember, it wouldn't matter. So they had him babysit me for a couple hours and recorded it. I was never supposed to know, but my aunt spilled the beans by accident to me. Ugh. I hate to ask, but was he? Yep. But instead of actually having him prosecuted, they just cut contact. Whoa. That was you, so they had him babysit me. Oh, that would be a hell of an explanation as to why they decided it was a good idea to use a child as bait. Something tells me authorities wouldn't take kindly to that. I cannot fathom, as a mother or human being, sending a child into a suspected predator. I'm so sorry they did that to you. I hate it when people take the let's not get the authorities tangled in this and just never speak to him or her again route for something as serious as this. Doing that will not stop the urges and predatory behaviors. They more than likely will not learn anything from it other than they cannot speak to their families ever again. Also, because they are a toddler means they will never remember mentality does not mean damage will not be done to the psyche of said toddler. I'm sorry you got stuck with them as a family. To be a fly on the wall during that conversation. Yes, I know, my mind is blown. These family secrets that you weren't supposed to know. All right, let's get out of here. Ugh. All right, well, you know what? I think I'm ready to call it a night. But I really enjoyed this recording, and I hope someone else enjoys it too. Bye.